Alrighty guys, it's a pleasure to be with you here again. Today we have a great participation. We have as guests today this great channel. We have Harold Polanco, we have Jhon Tipo, and we have David Valero ready to give the broadest possible presentation to resolve doubts. Today is the 14th. First, I want to congratulate those people who are here with us. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. And we are going to have a quite attractive sum today. We are going to have a quite full sum today. The chat is open to resolve all doubts. I see that Carlos Alberto just asked me a question here that we are going to talk about it. Carlos, don't worry about that. We are going to keep your question pending and we are going to start so as not to dilate everyone so much. We have family today, so let's get to work. Let's start with Harold first. That the One Time Club is going to present to us for those new people who are entering the ecosystem, and then we are going to deepen little by little, guys, the doubts to the chat, and I will be asking these geniuses who are within the system that we are growing and there are no negative conclusions that One Time Club today is the best project there is. About 2026, about any other, there is no discussion, okay? So we give the floor to Harold Polanco, my friend, whenever you like.
Hello, Jose. How are you guys? First of all, thank you all very much for taking the time today, Saturday. I also tell you that I am writing that I am going to celebrate. I have the oldest son's birthday, so we have to take advantage of this space. It is really very important for us to be here, to be able to give you such valuable information. There are many questions, there are many unknowns that will be solved, as Jose says. Thanks to Jose for the invitation. Thanks to David. Thanks to John, who are experts in all analysis, well technical, and they really scrutinize everything that has to do with the projects so that we can have clarity. Deeper than there is, then what could possibly happen, and the projection basically with technical analysis, not just numbers. So to what to mind, and then I'm going to give you the presentation. We are going to talk about 1TIMECLUB, and I'm going to tell you why we have basically started. Well, in this project, I present myself. My name is Abel Polanco. I am from Colombia, from the city of Cali. I have been developing both physical and digital investment projects for more than 10 years. I have been able to interact in some with great results. And the best of all is that every day we learn much more from all these type of projects. Every day technology advances and likewise gives us the opportunity. Right now they are mentioning that Web 4 is coming, Web 5 is coming, and basically opportunities are coming to make us better and better in finances and learn from those who really know. So I'm going to start by giving you this presentation, and I want to talk to you about what 1TIMECLUB. 1TIMECLUB is a deficit. It has everything to do with decentralized finance, which allows us users to generate returns on deposits through an innovative atomic lending model where capital is requested, used, and becomes a single transaction on the blockchain, guaranteeing zero risk. As such, in Lost Ready, there is a direct interaction with a protocol that is supremely famous, that has an antiquity in all of this, and that has too much potential. It has been working for more than 6 years, and it is the Venus protocol that makes 1TA a club through Venus, is to allow us to connect our wallets, obviously make a connection. As a bridge using this portal so that we can benefit from this protocol that takes advantage of all the liquidity it has to generate passive interest, executes profitable operations, makes arbitrage, refinancing, and settlements automatically. Ready. Thanks to this smart contract, all operations are totally transparent. They are habitable in real time, which is what we are now going to see in the technical part by these people who are super experts. The profits are automatically distributed among us participants. It combines safety, efficiency, and dynamic benefits in itself. 1TIMECLUB transforms passive liquidity into a safe asset optimizing capital within the DeFi ecosystem in an intelligent and scalable way. What 1TIMECLUB offers us users to generate returns on deposits automatically in a safe way, combining massive interests that come from a result of Venus. Directly, Venus is the one that receives all the connections directly from our wallets. Then Venus internally is what makes the movements, which we are going to see right now, and generates profits by executing atomic loans. It takes advantage of everything that has to do with refereeing, and what it does is take advantage of all this in real time. Ready? It's transparent, it's traceable, everything is totally verifiable because it is through blockchain. In the blockchain, everything can be verified and automatically all profits are distributed. They are distributed proportionally depending on the participation of each of us through our wallet. To be part of 1TIMECLUB, we need to have some variables. Number one, have a wallet. Which wallet do I use? Trust wallet, but what wallet exists, that is, I know that, and they can connect without any problem. CPAL, MetaMask, Token Pocket, True Wallet, those known to me already. Everyone decides which one they want to use. What you do need to know is that you have to be on the BNB network. Smart Chat ready. So the first thing is to have a wallet. The second thing is to have gas to cover what the transactions are. Both connection and request within the BNB ecosystem is Smart Chain. If you are going to send $1 to any wallet, they charge you a gas. Then here, as you are going to do transaction traceability, the second thing you have to have is one BNB, how much? $2, $3, and additional half USD for the same BNBY network. Choose one of the 4 plans we are seeing here below are not plans. They are connection times where you decide which of the times allows you to be connected and receive the benefits. Taiwan is equivalent to 30 days, that is 1 month. You connect with your wallet and you will receive a daily profit of 0.8% daily. Harold comes in every day. Yes, totally every day, every 30 minutes there is. You can verify that you are receiving commissions depending on all the traceability and all the operations you are doing with the protocol. The Venus protocol, this time those 30 days, you are going to receive from Monday to Monday the 0.8 on the capital that you connected through Wave. Ready? So, what about that? When the 30 days end, that the contract cycle ends, your capital is available either to make a reconnection, choose a new time, or the same if you wish with the same capital or with more. You decide whether to make a withdrawal directly to your wallet, and obviously you already spend your money on what you want. The second plan is 1TIME is you is time to, what does 2 months mean? It's 60 days here. Unlike 30 days, they pay us 0.9% daily under the same conditions. Every day we can claim the benefit directly to our wallet 60 days after the contract ends. Likewise, you can connect to make a new connection with your own capital, or withdraw the money wherever you want in time 3, which is 90 days. You can select it and you can earn a percentage of 1.1% daily. Remember that this is daily, Monday to Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and every day. You can either monetize your profit or reinvest it depending on what you want to do, Time 4 lasts 120 days. In time 4, you have an additional one, and that is that you are going to have 1.4% daily production. In the same way, every day, they all work the same. The only difference is the time. So the time 4 is for 4 months a connection where you are going to receive every day, and this is approximately 168% ready. It's crystal clear. Up to here, an additional we have as such. After the connections, there are some a way we can have additional benefits. Practically, the connection plans are for everyone. It is affordable for everyone because it can start at $10, but I'm going to give them a tick. When you connect with $10, you are part of 1TIMECLUB and you connect with Venus. Great. Until then, you will receive the benefit depending on the period you select ready. Now, if you want to form a team, you have the ability to do so because you will earn much more than I will explain to you. You are going to have performance and you are going to have very good profits. What will lead you to maximize your profits? You shouldn't start with $10. Why? Because within the system, the development is generated or is made so that when you make your first connection, define what you want to do in 1TIMECLUB. So in order to be able to enter and open or the possibility of starting to recommend creating teams and creating a giant ecosystem, you have to at least enter with $50 because it will open up the possibility of commissioning and having extra profits for 7 levels. How does Harold work? How does this work? Easy. If you start with $50, the system tells you, okay, you can. Invite people or create teams and everything at your first level, which is what you have open, suits you. It will generate a profit on these profits that we are talking about connection plans. Depending on which person selects, we will earn 18% on the profits. Example, I invite Jose. Jose comes in with $10,000 and it is my direct. As it is my first level, I have $50. Excellent. It allows me to collect now. Jose earns 1.4% dial ready. We're talking about Jose making $140 a day. I would earn 18% on this 140. Every day that Jose withdraws, I get the commission. If Jose doesn't withdraw, it will still accumulate, and the moment Jose starts monetizing, I will win because it works like that. Everything is anchored, everything is meshed like a chain, everything is linked in such a way that it works in parallel. If Jose charges, I win. If Jose connects, I win. And everything is totally like that. Now, if I want to charge on level 2, level 3, level 4, 5, 6, and 7, as you can see, there are already some additional percentages. Then Jose invites Jhon. Jhon is my second level, but I have $50. What does the system say? You can't charge for Jhon anymore? Because in order to be able to charge for Jhon, I need to have $100 to open 2 levels ready. With $100, I can open 2 levels and charge for Jhon. The profits, how much is 9%? Because the 18th is winning Jose and so on. Level 7, level 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to charge at level 3 and 4. You need, or I need, and we all need to have a minimum of $500. This allows us to charge for level 3 and 4. And if I want to charge for the rest of the levels, which are 5, 6, and 7, I need to have a personal account, personal connection, at least $1,000. The system says if you have $1,000, you have all 7 levels open. And if the organization grows, we are going to collect the percentages of agreement as you are seeing here on the screen of everything ready now. There are certain rules, he says they have given, but I call them conditions. These conditions are according to what 1TIMECLUB, to the connection that one or we make for Venus and what Venus has in terms of profitability and what it manages to do. It is tied to this to be able to pay according to what it is producing. As I told him, with $50 now a level, with $100 now 2. With 500 savings up to 4 levels and with 1,007 levels. That's one of the conditions I told you about, and it's super easy. But there's an extra condition. And what's the extra condition? It is the next one. If I have $1,000 and I have the 7 levels open, but it turns out that within my organization, the profits are above $1,000 because there is already a robust team, because there are quite a few connections. What I generate from 1,000 onwards, I can no longer collect. The system does not cancel it because the extra condition is that I can collect a maximum of what I have in the sum of all my contracts within the same wallet. How so, Harold? If you can open a contract of 50, another of 501, of 100, one of 501, of 201, of 300. You have several contracts within your same connection. However, all contracts are paid independently, but in the end, it is total to be able to comply with the requirements required by the protocol. Ready? So if I have $100 and my community is giving me 150, easy, every day I'm going to receive $50. So what do I have to do? At least have the same 150. I think it's clear. That's it. So remember, two conditions, two requirements to be able to have all the benefit of my community, up to 7 levels. Number one, minimum $1,000 for 7 levels. And number two, if I am charging more than $1,000. Or at least have at least the same as I am charging on the ready day. There is something extra, and this is a pretty important topic, and I want you to pay close attention. There is something One Time has that is a plus. Remember, this word plus means that it is something additional. It has nothing to do with the connection that if Venus works, that if it doesn't work, because this in the end is one. It is something extra that they put so that we users could have an additional benefit and the roulette is activated. With 1% of all connections made within One Time Club through One Time Club to Venus. That is, we connect with Venus, but through One Time Club, when $5,000 is completed, 1% on 50, and the roulette is automatically activated. What does this allow us? May we all have the opportunity to enter our system, give it a spin, and have the option to win. We haven't won many anymore. Many people win every day because this roulette is activated 67 and 10 times, 15 times a day, and is supremely winning now. What happens when someone suddenly wants to take the roulette guale and send you money? It won't activate. Remember that if you send from outside to want to activate it, to do what you want to make a profit or want to look at something, the roulette is only activated with the connections made through One Time to Venus, not with extra money. Ready for them to be very, very clear. Additionally, if you win roulette, the system, it tells you that for 72 hours, they have no more options to play because there are other participants who have the same right as you for having won. But if you roll the roulette when it is active and you do not win, we have 5 hours to roll again while a new roulette is activated, or where applicable, the opposite. Activate before 5 on the clock. H, we have a chance to play again ready. So of course, roulette is a plus. It's something great. Many people have won, including myself. I have already won it several times. We are talking about 2 or 3 times, and this has helped me capitalize. However, I'm going to tell you some of the times I have won. I have been able to support some people who have wanted to become part of One Time Club, and I have done it on my part. I have put people to benefit from roulette and obviously believe in everything we are presenting. Ready now within the development of One Time Club, something amazing that I had not seen previously in any project by any means. It's an emergency interface. And what does this mean, Harold? It means that the acronym IPFS. What One Time Club placed is a deployment, an emergency interface that is called the Interplanetary File System, and is a fully decentralized network of world servers that is fully decentralized. This means that even if the One Time Colac server has a cyber attack or a hacker or I don't know what could happen, It provides a guarantee that we can continue connecting through this IPFSY system, as well as being able to access our contracts that are connected through One Time to Venus and dispose of our profits. And if in this case we have an expired contract, then we have that expired contract ready. This emergency access saves this link, because if ever you cannot access, well, here is the link. YPF is that today, now we are going to share it with you here in the chat ready. Now it has the renounced property, which is what we are going to know right now. Many people outside say no, that is a lie, because normally haters are always throwing, people always want to look for the weakness of something without even having good knowledge. But here, as I told you at the beginning, and as you can see, there are some experts who are going to show us where the renounced property is. And how does all the Venus verification and so on work? What does this mean? That all contract management roles have been permanently relinquished. No one can modify them. No one can parameterize them. No one can do absolutely anything. Neither stop it nor anything else. It's already blocked. It's already given up. No one can pause it. No one can pause it. No one can modify it. No one changes the investment plans. Arrow, I would like to have a 10-day plan. It is already organized at 326090120. It cannot be changed. Now I want the roulette to be not 50 but 30. It cannot be changed. It is already organized. Now I want it not to pay 1.4 but 2. Absolutely nothing can be done ready. This is a resignation that is real, which allows you and I who are here, those who are seeing the screen, and I who already have investments obviously and a team that I am organizing, to have peace of mind that nothing is going to change within the system or in the contract. Nor are they going to modify absolutely anything. Are these one-time clubs worth it? This is what the compensation plan is. Everything the system is, everything it has to do with the connections, and as I showed you, it's basically what you're going and listening to today from here on out. What's going to happen? Follow what the whole technical part is, everything else. But I want to know if question, I don't know, Jose, what else there and so on.
First of all, the fact of why they are doing that with the roulette wallet is simple in quotes, because it does not contain a bomb, but it is an attack, because they know perfectly well that by depositing money, you are not going to win anything by depositing your money directly to that wallet, because obviously in case that wallet receives you. What the money is doing is absorbing your capital, because you are actually going to earn your money from the roulettes within the system, not from a wallet. That's already written, it's explicit, and obviously they do it because they saw that one day while doing it, the roulette system marked an error because money was coming in where it wasn't. So they literally do it to fuck, because there is no other.
Overall, I agree.
So the community is asked to please be aware that if we are having a project of this type that they are monetizing us, it is giving us capital and a future. Because here they have already asked me several questions about how long I think it will last Wanted the Club. I give it a year and a half and be careful. And if we have a projection of this type, why be damaging? No one in the One Time Club community is going to be damaging the protocol. They are people who are behind it, people who are failing, which would be what One Time Club is to do as accurately as possible, that at this moment I come back and I repeat to you, it is the best project there is, and it is being attacked by the anti-One Time Club. It is being attacked by 2 or 3 who in the end want to make videos without base, without control. For example, me and Jhon Tipo have sat down for a long time to talk about the Lord's video already, to mention it, and in the end these are things that what you say makes no sense. So this is what we are witnessing as a direct attack. Hold the club, okay? So that's one of the points.
And
well, I had left a little point there, but I'll pick it up later, so come on. Thank you, Harold. Thank you for the initial account and club presentation. Very good presentation. Let's go with David. John, when do you two want to start? To start showing what the renunciation of ownership is, mainly what we are interested in for people to know where it is. He sees on the 20th of Legator that the on-time club contract tells us so much that it is verified, and the haters say no, that it is not verified. I want today you to take the time to show all these little things to deny. Okay, and we're going to go deeper. Sorry, we're going to go deeper, but we're going to start there. First verification, rejected contracts, and all these little points. Okay, I'll give you the step.
Okay, before my partner and Valero is going to give that part of the resignation, but before continuing with great pleasure, my name is Jhon Tipo for people who don't know me. I want us to understand well why the IPFS thing before moving on to the technical part, because people only want to copy the link and paste it into the IPFS. IPFS has a backup company that is IPFS.I, or if you look here in the chat, I see that my colleague Jose has already put it in the IPFC. It starts with IPFS.I, and you can search for it on the web. Yes. And obviously we appear first as a company so that they take into account that that is not invented by 1TIMECLUB and that is not as it already came. As they have also been saying, because yesterday I received that comment that the IPFC is creating it, 1TIMECLUB is not. Address to the blockchain, and obviously it does. The people who were able to notice the maintenance that the account and club does on the servers, and the page is paused, everyone can enter through the IPFS and act safely, because obviously they have to understand that they are globally interconnected nodes. There are thousands of nodes, yes, hired by a major company, that is. IPFS.io, gentlemen, keep in mind that this is not a game. This is something serious. This is impossible to hack, impossible for the servers to go down. No. There hasn't been any hacker or thousands of hackers trying to take down one IPFS. That's never been seen in history. So gentlemen, so that you are clear about what an IPFSI represents, I say to all the leaders, gentlemen, please hand over the links. The IPFSY and the referral link both avoid problems later if anything new happens, which I doubt, but obviously this has to be practical in that the leaders deliver that part here from where the high part is. Quote, the first part says IPFS.I or ma'am. You can check it on the page. That has a very important function, and it is a company that is not just something invented. Ready to be taken into account, gentlemen? Then no, yes, more. For example, I don't know, David, do you want to continue on the technical part now? Start now, or do you want to?
Tell him, Dale, no, Dale, then, well, they will be at night for everyone present. Well, people who don't know me are very happy. My name is David Valera. Just as Jhon was saying, just as I was saying, for a lot of people who suddenly don't know, or suddenly don't know how to look for it, or have no idea where they can look for them, that makes additional information. You go to 1timeclub.com, and on 1time.com you go PFSY. There it is public. This is what we are showing on the screen, so you can go look for them, you can go put them. And an additional thing is that you have to put it in the Wallet Explorer. What wallet? The one you're using, the one you want. Of course, let it have a website 2, let it be, sorry, no website 2, let it be for website 3, excuse me, and let it have forgiveness, and let it be a totally decentralized wallet. There are not several, there are several. You can do the management, look for whatever it is, or the person who is guiding you can give you instructions on how to do it, or K. So that's like an additional topic. But now going a little deeper into what the issue of hiring is, the issue of contracts, the issue of what remains is equal. He was surprised when I met him. This was the contract, and the contract is first verified, second if it is waived, and on that same waiver there is a transaction hash that is also public. No, it is also coming, it is public, and any of the people who want it. You just need to have an internet connection, a digital device, and you can have this same information. Well, where can you find this? Or are you going to the to the page, to the contract, and you're going to see here exactly everything it means, then what? That's what it means. That's what renunciation of ownership has. So the relinquishment of ownership says that you are permanently relinquished the role of administrator, which means the role of administrator, that no one can interact with any modifications once already made and configured. Or K, that they are telling you that you can modify it, they are saying, and for people who suddenly have sometimes lack information or information about the part in the blockchain. Nothing that is in the blockchain is modifiable, it is not immutable, and many people have said for X and or Z for past issues that what is in the blockchain, is it modifiable? Well, absolutely false to what you are saying, because within the blockchain, when you have something renounced and something that is fully logged and with a transaction hash, it cannot be modified. So no matter what happens, keep it in mind, and that is not only for this contract, but for all contracts that have been waived and revoked and with their transaction hash, that there are several. Of course, there are several. But no, there is no one like this, which has everything in a public way, which is different in a public way, traceable and verifiable. So you can come here, or anyone can come here and see that the contract here is a VIP delegator 1TC. What does this mean? Is a name that was given to that contract and who gave it to him. Venus protocol. Let's remember that only one-time cloud is a name. It's a name. It's an intermediate connection name. Basically, that's a connecting bridge. As Harold said at the time, it is a bridge between you as a user or us as a user, telling you that we are one, I am a user too. And the Venus system. Or K, if you want to enter too, you can enter directly into Venus and do all the instructions that they tell you. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to do a liquidity provider. Be careful what I'm saying, a liquidity provider. Here, no one operates anything. No one operates anything. Only the internal operation that Venus does within its ecosystem, which has been in the ecosystem for 5 years doing these operations. And that is also very interesting, because when you learn, if you know and you don't become a digital mole, well, these verifications can have too many influences within the veracity of those in the ecosystem. So the waiver of this contract, no one can do, no guy, of adjustments. And that means no one can pause or unpause. The contract as a first measure, as a second, cannot modify the investment plans as a third. No one can change the minimum investment as fourth. The contract works autonomously and forever. Why? Precisely because those things come here. Something very interesting about what was done in the role of resignation. It's a default. Here is a default administration role where the default has this verification. Many people and many geniuses that exist within the internet or exist within popular jargon. They say this is an escape wallet or a wallet attached to the contract, and unfortunately they are wrong. This is a...
David, please speak louder so everyone can hear you clearly.
There you listen to me, talk. They're listening to me.
Sounds good there.
Or K ready. So many people say that this is our wallet that is out there. They are going to be a leak, that they are going to claim things out there, and everything is. So basically this is a programming language, and you can look and you can verify that this termination of two assets insertion 5 is a code within the reading computers, within the computer. And here we can see that the account that made this terminal resignation E26. Why do we call them that? Because to make it much easier, they are much easier to understand, make it much easier to understand. And this has been a construction wallet, a contract interaction wallet, in this case the contract. 1TIMECLUB, and here you can see. We can also see that there is the code. Here we have the code. You can come, and the person who knows about Solidity, who has that interaction and can read all this and can look at it, can give credit in faith and testimony that there is no proxy within the contract. What does a proxy mean, gentlemen? What does a proxy mean? A proxy means that it is as if you had a door or window so that you can make some modifications, not always some modifications, do something strange within a contract. But if a modification is in moving some type of commissions, some type of movements, some kind of extra after there is a waiver in this case. There is no, I repeat, there are no proxies within the 1TIMECLUB contract. So keep that in mind. And it is from Venus Protocol and 1TIMECLUB, so that you keep it in mind and do not be confused by the fact that here there are no type of proxies that can do anything in the future. So from here you can also see, here you can see that the transaction hash is, and it is in green in another color. This is back, and I say it is public or K with this transaction hash only with one click. It will take you to the BSSK. People who do not know the time scan and who say that suddenly this is false, that this is useless and that this is fraudulent, because the person who thinks that, or the person who duplicates this information, is completely wrong, but it must be reported. You must inform yourself if you want to be within these systems of Web 3, Web 4 and Web 5, because if you don't have information and you don't have one. Consistency. What are you saying? Well, you are in absolutely, as they say, you are in the wrong place, but at the same time, Scan is the blockchain as such. Scan is the blockchain that has the most movement within the world of the crypto world. That's right, it is one of the most blockchains. Executions are up to date and transactions are up to date. So that way is the waiver of the contract within the ABC scan, as you can see it here. I am going to put it in Spanish so that you can read it yourself. And here is the transaction. Here we have the transaction. Here we see the transaction. Here we see the call. Everything that is executed within the blockchain or within the BC scam is called calls, or is called calls or calls. And here's the resignation call in red. Okay, that resignation enroll is made by E26. Remember that I showed you on the previous page, E26 is the contract. Sorry, this is not your contract. It is a contract execution and formation wallet. So here we say here there is a contract. Look at it. And the contract that was made and corroborated or conformed was that of 5B5. Something very interesting within the execution system is that there is only one executing contract, which is the one that receives you, the one that deploys, and the one that returns is only one, and you will always have those who are already participating within the ecosystem. They have always seen and will see that it is the 5B5 that you must deposit, and the one that deposits you every day, or the times that you make your withdrawal. So you can only go look, you look at it, and 5B5 will always appear as the executor of the operation. If you click on E26, then it deploys us. What the confirmation. Within the structure that was made to form the contract, or that 83 days ago was the resignation, that is precisely why they told you right now in the chat. listen to the presentation first and then ask why they start asking questions. When the presentation is not there is 1/3 part. So that's why you should wait and have a little patience that all questions and all doubts will be answered during the presentation. And here, to one of those questions they were asking in the chat, 83 days, that was the resignation. The waiver of the contract is the waiver I was talking about. And in that case, we can also see here the formation of the contract, the creation, or rather of the contract. That was 103 days ago. Okay, that begins to be executed. Did they start executing it? And here is something very particular that on one occasion I wondered why this? Because it comes configured in 2 contracts and a single contract. I had the verification that this verification is totally necessary and it is a requirement so that Venus can have that acceptance of the formation of the contract. So here we see that there are 2 contracts, one at 108 days and another at 103 days. I'm going to explain the 108-day one, the 108-day one. Here we have the same code that we can see here, VIP20, the litigator. If I return here to the page, give me 1 second, please, that 1 second. If I return here, it says exactly the same, okay. And if we see this, here is this contract. What this contract does is a verification source code. I left very quickly. It gives me back 1 second here. If you put it up here, it tells us that it is a correct verification code. I'm going to put it here in Spanish. I put in the exit, I entered that yes, in Spanish it is a verified source code. Everything the contract does must be verified by this contract. But if we go and see it, this contract is an 18833, see that?
Contract, sorry, one little thing before you follow that contract. Bid delegator is indexed to the operator contract. Keep that clear because the verification that Venus does. It does it through that indexation that exists between 5B5 and the contract. Delegator, the verification contract. No one, gentlemen, no one can enter Venus as a contract. I am not talking as a wallet. No one can enter Venus as a contract without the verification check. Be clear. Right now I am going to show them to you so that you realize that everyone who is as a contract is verified. Perhaps Templo is also included in this verification.
Here it is. So that way, as John was telling them, here you can check it out. So of course, what do we check? Well, let the contract be verified, let it have its checklist here. Here it is. That does not mean that I am totally oblivious, or that I am totally 100%. 100% security that in many contracts they are verified only in the blockchain. And well, here there are other circumstances, other things. Well, what we can also see here is that here this does not generate any transaction. Here we can verify that it does not in itself, not only what John said, that it is only an act, an actor verifying the transactions, so that they have it in mind. But the only contract, as I told you before, the only contract that you are going to see for operability, operation, execution, and everything else, the 5B5 here is the 5B5, and we are going to see it. We are going to see the contract 5B5, that contract here. If you have it here, you can see the transactions. Those transactions, you can see here that he makes 8,194,13 transactions, and what he does every day is claim ROID, wild ROID, claim ROID. Those are ROID withdrawals. What is the ROID? It's what you generate daily. It's what you generate daily, and here that's what it has in operation as such. Here it can also be seen, here we can see the operability of the contract, where the operability of the contract, which is Wilderoy, Wildroy, Roy. Oh, wait for me, I got in, I got out. And here you can watch the entire execution, the entire execution. Let's remember something that Venus in particular has, which is that Venus within its ecosystem, they manage, not only they manage USDT, they manage BUSDT. What is BUSDT? The bust is an internal token. It is an internal token that manages Venus, and everything that becomes an operational part of the Venus ecosystem must be in BUSDT so that they keep it in mind. Now let's take one of the transactions here. Let's pick one of those transactions anyway. Let's see if we choose to see these 6 tick 6. Let's see, he's going to choose a big one here, which is, this is an out and 2067. Well, let's choose this, 2567. We are going to choose it with the one where he wants to work. Let's see. There it was left that you have to have this patience because it has too much information. I won't let you, I'm going to take this one here. This is an out of 5 to the token in reverse. Well, let's choose this one that I see here. No, if it gives us yes. Ready. This is a ROI withdrawal call a few minutes ago, but what I want to explain to you here is not the pile, that is not the operation or K. So how are the calls made? The calls here are from 5B, the calls from Venus, which is 02525, which is Venus dial 5B5 or K. And the amount is called to Venus so that Venus makes its internal exchange of 48.36 bust, which is equivalent to $1.27. Oh, so that's a meme. Coin is not an internal currency that Venus uses, but it is also on CoinMarketCap. And right now it will be shown to you. Jhon, so that you can see what value it has and what execution it has, or K, and that to that call to 5B5 that we see here, because he deposits it in this wallet. This wallet was the wallet of that person who is requesting this money which is $1.26. How long does it take? Fractions of seconds to do this operation. Okay, here you won't have any charge because there are people, oh, so I'm going to be charged for all this, don't you? Here they charge you absolutely nothing for doing these operations. What it charges you is the wallet for making the withdrawals, or KY.
Right here, sorry David, and right here we are already seeing directly how there is no intersection outside the C5B5 contract, which is created by the portfolio that has the rejected contract.
And we see totally. So there we see they are contract interactions. They are interactions within the blockchain that you can come and look at, and you can understand it and understand the origins. And why is all this being done at this moment? It is already a contract that when we met, it was about $270,000. It is already 1,221, 1,448. Within less than 45 days. So it has had, well, a quite interesting connection, quite interesting, where you can get days. I say that you have a pretty good opportunity of what you want to do if you want to execute it. And something additional that I want to tell you is that it is a completely executed contract. The waiver has already been executed here. Everything that has to do with it is a completely execute. Well, Jhon Tipo, I think that's as far as my intervention goes for right now. There I give you the room. Thank you for your participation, and we are attentive.
Now ready, I'm going to share screen. Thank you, Dail. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to look at some dots that were pending, but we're going to look at them. Give me a second. Ready. Screen sharing is now ready. Perfect. Gentlemen, something very important, something very important. Do you hear me? Yes, yes, you hear me.
Perfect, John, perfect.
Ready. Something very important here in the contract. 5 of 5, gentlemen. Every day we manipulate this contract. Every day we work with 5 of 5. Grade is in this number, gentlemen, because you where they make the deposit, where they withdraw, where they claim commissions, where they pay you roulette. Where the 5B5 also takes out 1%, gentlemen. This contract takes out 1% for the roulette, gentlemen, yes. And the roulette, before I follow the roulette, is $5,000. And that same contract makes that management of separating 1% to get the 50, to get the $50 and issues them from 5 and 5 to the wallet, gentlemen. No, no. I mean, when we talk about a bag, we are not talking about a bag there to throw because there are no people here. This is automatic. We're talking about a wallet. We are talking about a wallet that takes charge and has a logic behind the 5B5 contract program to withdraw and execute that $50 so that they take it into account. Ready? Shall we continue then?
Here we go. Sorry, let them understand it well because there is already speculation or they have already speculated
Not from.
that the E5E5 originated from somewhere else. They also win as they participate. No, it's not because I like or dislike their methods. So I start speculating about their intent. Are they grabbing that $50 for themselves? It appears this is happening on a global scale where all participants seem to possess fair chances to secure those $50 rewards.
Dollars?
Everyone has a chance, but what I want you to understand is that it's a logic. It's a logic behind that wallet, that bag where it's running. They have to understand that it is 5,000 and the programming logic of 5 out of 5. Carry on. Initiate a distribution of $50. Allocate optimally by siphoning off just a mere 1% from total engagements individuals established while ensuring the chosen winner is esteemed. To clarify further, numerous participants have already triumphed. A calculated estimate indicates no less than 320 individuals have successfully spun the roulette wheel thus far. This affair isn't a novel phenomenon. Certainty wanes over roulette's integrity. However, the same ever-trustworthy channel 1TIMECLUB persists in urging involvement. Participation beckons individuals. Still, there's persistent prompting for turning people towards participation, all to underscore its significance as fresh developments and breaking announcements emerge. Since the week began, alongside an official reveal about practices set in motion for the roulette to be activated, speculation dances fervently, giving way to incessant conjectures.
There is always an important point before they start speculating based on what you just said. And yet they refrain from introducing contractual amendments for bots or systems alerting automated notifications. Could implementing such informed actions instigate welcoming updates via Telegram for clearer notices?
Let's refrain. Steer away overcomplicating amid such suffocating uncertainties.
But it's good, John, because there are so many things that they start talking and they start saying and speculation begins, and all that speculation, what it does is defamation in a negative sense, right?
Totally, no, but hey, that here we are going to counteract everything. I love countering all the haters and we are for that. Ready? Look, sorry, and additional. Every time you go to the root and someone wins it, there it is.
Transaction and all the
World, everyone can build those there in themselves in the same application. They can click on it and go to the wallet. They sometimes scan, they redirect them. That is, it is impossible for it to fall every time in the same wallet. There are people who do, sometimes they have won it 2 and 3 times.
But I didn't earn it and I don't.
No, I've had too much.
No, what about me? Well, I won, but hey, that's the idea.
Yo, Bosco says just an empanada.
Bosco won too, showcasing the diversity among winners.
The internet has won 3 times.
Okay.
Well, look before you go any further. Sorry, John. Here they just wrote a question that says that if roulette will be like a proxy, gentlemen, roulette for roulette, your money does not pass. Nothing more than the percentage that is taken from each investment. Nothing more. there to the roulette what the roulette max pot would be, which is when it is already full and the roulette is enabled so that you can participate. It only goes to 1%. The rest is changed to BUSD tether and goes directly to the C5 B5, which is inside Venus. Nothing better than two roles, the admin role and the one who is in charge of the smart contract that is in charge. The first Venus sent you and it's here. How do you see it? The roulette rule, that what it does is take that 1%, but everything from that 5B5 is not that is separate. It is independent. Not all that 5E5 carries that implementation together. It is not a proxy wallet.
Isn't it a proxy wallet? Obviously, it has an operation to be able to store, because obviously from there it is pulled into that bag, as the PDF tells us. It is pulled into that bag by the logic of the contract of 5. The 5 pulls that value so that the person who earned it, well, obviously he has paid for which one? For the operator contract. We will always have the operator contract ahead of us, sir. It is the one that interests us most. Gentlemen, here, obviously already reviewing all this code before continuing, obviously reviewing this code, because the part I want is coming, that you see how we participate as holders, because we are holders now, have before continuing. Gentlemen, we do not operate within Venus. We have no internal operations within protocol. We participate in a contract that Venus made, because Venus is one thing and the contract that he made, it is another thing, so that they take it into account. And us here, well, obviously when we were studying this code, well, these addresses to us cause us curiosity. What we explained previously with Jose in other videos about the refresh pool, that people are also talking about the refresh pool, obviously has several functions, but this function is the one who performs it. The contract that executes that function, which is 05, is 5.1 control. Permanent always by who? For Venus. That control is done by the refresh pool. Venus does it, and/or there is no other wallet that is handling that refresh pool. Now this wallet, people write it down 0255, gentlemen, because obviously it is in a programming code, and that was worrying at the time when we were studying that code. Well, it worries us because we didn't really know where it came from, but this is the idea of this, for us to study the code, gentlemen. So I look at myself here, wait for me here, that address 02 to continue what I was already explaining.
I apologize for interrupting, Jhon, but I need to clarify something. What happens is that here in the chat, as soon as I interrupt you, they say. So they ask a question. It is the next one, that if the contract that resigned Eleni, why did they increase the roulette 7,000? I think we have not understood it. That is, at no time, at any time in the statement does it say that the roulette wheel is going to arrive. It is going to be filled with 7,000. There they explain. What if we do? 2 minutes to analyze the statement, because we have to analyze what is not just reading it and what is most convenient for us, or what we want to refute most, taking it to yes, throwing it away. But what it says exactly in the statement, I read it 3 times to be able to understand it well before giving a concept. There it says, the roulette wheel is filled with 5,000, that is with 1% over 5,000. But there are people who are sending to try roulette. So what's going on? 50 bucks is 5,000. Do you mean that at this moment, as they have sent, can you see it? Because there are already people who have seen it, and those comments do it because they have seen it within the paying wallet or the contract. As you are obviously explaining, a balance appears. What is the balance? What they have sent more, so if they add 50 more, the surplus balance is as if it were 7,000, but it's the same. 5,000 is the same. 5,000.
After careful reading, the statement confirms that only 5,000 is mentioned, not 7,000.
They have not changed absolutely anything. 00, they have not changed it. They are only saying that they are sending too much money, and the people who do it are malicious because of the fact, or for whatever reason, This is what it's doing. It's visually seeing that there's more inside a bag. So what happens? The truth is that they are seeing and monitoring everything about One Time, because they are going to say, come on, there are already 50 and it has not been filled. It turns out that if someone sends them 50 out there, well, no, I don't know, it won't be activated because the 50 are external. They are going to tell you, oh no, it's no longer activated with 50. And they are going to look for a way to speak. What is not is that it is activated. They are with the connections. Every time there are 5,000, it is activated, which is 1%, so that we are clear. Was that it? Thank you.
All right, I'm ready to demonstrate something first. To continue, because, well, there are many people who are asking me about this part of the resignation. Obviously, I want you to see contract 5B5, this contract 5B5. Let them continue talking about the code that is in by coach. This code, obviously, this is the contract that they show on all social networks, and well, obviously this comes out and they can't visualize it, sir. This is machine language, which neither you nor any of us are going to be able to do. This is only read by computers so that they are clear, but this code is, if I am going to spare all the haters and all the those who are speaking, this code that ends in 0233, record those 0233. We are going to display it here in the bit delegator creator, which is the verification code and which has the verification check that we are going to be able to observe here. Here you go, gentlemen. Look, here you go. Look, here they have it in the form of language. In human language, so that you can see the same code that is where you find it included. Here they have it verified, all the code, copy it, all the haters and all those who want to talk here. And also this shows it here. Look at the code that was above, that is indexed, because that's why I told you, look at it here, look at it here. This code, look at it here, they have it. The same code is a stretch of look at it that ends in 0033. Look at it so that they continue talking about it, so that they continue talking about that code. No, it cannot be read. Here they have it here. And if you want to see it in the entire branch of the code, also here, I also show them, gentlemen, that for everyone, oh, look, it starts from here. Look. From 033 upwards, you're going to copy all that code, and they realize it's a stretch that they put there, and that's what they do. Why? For security, gentlemen, for security. But nevertheless, 1TIMECLUB told them, here they have all the code, copy it, look at it. In fact, I am going to tell all the interest where they can copy it here. Look here in this corner, here they give you copy code, and that's it. They don't have to be killing themselves or stressing themselves then, so that they are clear that that code. Is it ready for action now?
Have it translated.
To have it translated, yes, so that they take the time, but no need to translate it. You can copy it here. That's the same code. What happens is that this code, obviously verified, comes complete.
No, and you don't have to be a genius when someone who has been looking here for a long time already realizes that the functions that are executed in real time on the blockchain that are executed inside Venus and that are executed in our wallets, it's the same thing that 1TIMECLUB has implemented. There is no ghost transaction, as they say. There are transactions that are diverting money. They even went so far as to speculate that the money ends up going to businesses' Proxy24 AE wallet. Yes, so that they can finish exploding the few neurons they have. That the Content Club money is diverted to I don't know how many wallets and ends up going to the wallet on the next 24th to E of business. That's the last straw. So when you start analyzing all this, you say, brother, what way and what desire to want to promote such an erroneous idea so that you can want to harm or make someone believe that you are necessarily right? So the voice
More fools than they believe in, that is. The one who is in the Durant is the one who is saying, but more than the one who remains and falls to the one who is stupid, and stupid is the one who believes.
But Mimi, I have a worse one for them. I was told that 1TIMECLUB created Wayne's page.
Oh, the cake.
That was more Olympic, when they saw that they had cloned it, and that we had no participation, and that could not be visualized sometimes.
Since One Time Club started in December, the first gossip boom that came to me was that it was a message. And I have it. It is one of the first videos I made where they told you One Time Club is not on Venus. One Time Club is a collector account. One Time Club aims to scam you via refresh pool. Here's the scammer's address after our thorough check.
The refresh pool, what you're doing is redirecting us to Venus. Venus is the controller of that refresh pool, and I'm interested in it being that one. I'm not interested in it being a proxy. If we had seen with Jose or with all those who have looked at this, that this had been another wallet, let's go. Yes, let's close the chapter by one. We are going to tell all the groups.
But the problem is that the function don't refresh pool. In addition,
Rebalance.
it is true that refresh pool can be used to make a future rock pool tomorrow. Of course, it depends on how you use the line of code and who you give permission to.
Who exactly has the permissions? Of course.
I mean, it can be done if I know.
Hey, and refresh cool. There are many contracts that people don't know at this moment today, but they are in there. They are in there, and those refreshments, yes, we have already analyzed them, and they are terrible then. Do you do gigantic damage? Gentlemen, our refresh pool is authorized. Why? For Venus, there is no more. There we saw it in the code very clearly. It says Venus control, there it has it. You only have an authorization, and that's what I'm going to do here in this step that we follow, 055. Look, this is the one of the contract that created, who created it? Gentlemen, Venus. Venus is a creative contract by Venus. Yes, behind this is a refinancier. Who is the refinancier? Who is Bay. Do you want me to show you? Well, I'm going to show you that he is also behind Venus as a refinancier. He is not the created one, he is the refinancier, but he is the first refinancier that he has here. This is the address created by who? It says it clearly here. We are going to look at it. By finance, hearts, wallets, that's how far we get, because it's like the part that people don't understand about Venus. And why do you think they have other functions besides the Venus loan? Because it has other functions, because it works. With what? With exchange, gentlemen, with exchange Venus, so you know. And I'm going to show you that also does that. J Farming also does a pool. Farming also does it, gentlemen. We can check it on CoinMarketCap with the value of the bust against USDT. Ready for them to be clear. Then let's go here and look at the contract 055. This contract that is created by who? For Venus, how many? 5 years and 84 days ago. But who created that? I'm going to talk to you like this. So that as I spoke to you yesterday, this is the dot, this is Venus herself, and this is this, sir. It's the contract with which they participate. How many companies? Almost 39,000 companies at the moment are like what? Like holders? Are like holders? Gentlemen, understand that word, holders. Isn't your screen visible? Huh? You can't see. No, you can't see the screen.
I think I'll check it because I'm seeing it here.
I'm here moving it. How does it look? Yes, or K. Already, sorry. Well, come on. Don't worry about this. Then I want you to understand. I'll come back and repeat. This address that is in the contract in the programming language of Wanted Club is the creator contract, the contract that created who? Venus. Is Venus here? This is different, gentlemen. This has different values, and here we have a U. An amount of 141,000 from who? Of all the holders, gentlemen, of all the holders. And in this amount we are who we want, including is involved here, and we are going to check that later. Here are functions of the contract. There is the minteo. Look, here is the loans. Here are the payments of the loans, gentlemen, so that you realize that there is traceability of who from Venus. Yes, there is traceability. Here we can look at the loans. Here he shows it to us. It is erased and stops so that they can translate it. Gentlemen, they are loans. I don't know if you're going to translate it for me here to calm the doubt of several out there that there is no traceability. Here are even the transaction hashes. Gentlemen, here are the transaction hashes for you to go and review it then. Already looking at this address, and this is the contract that interests us, because that is where we are delivering that our money, so to speak. We are suppliers of the guides. But with this contract is that they can participate. Now understand that in Venus, point Y, or the dad of the chicks, you have to enter with the currency they use, which is the bust. For what? For internal operations, to make changes to the collaterals. Well, when collaterals enter UST, Ethereum, TRX, whatever, because there they even receive meme coins, so to speak. There they receive and they make the changes of the collaterals they do in bust. All of Venus internal operations at bust. Now I saw a question where they said that how did they participate? You can also participate directly with Venus Point I, or you can do it from your SafePal. You can do it with the following address: app.venus.i, and you can also interact there. The Venus logo will appear and you can enter. Obviously, you are not going to win like Venus wins, because Venus wins like she can endure in the club, because she can endure in the club. Obviously, he has a stake right now of $1,000. If you have $1,000, you can participate, and believe me that Venus is going to give you a very different deal, because it is going to put your money to work in blocks. Understand how it works. Inside Venus in blocks they work on what the arbitration is, what jade farming is, what loans are, what farming is apart. Yes, they work on all that in blocks, and the profits, because obviously they are very different, but those operations are carried out, and the profits that he gives to us. Who gives them to us? Venus can't hold on balloon Venus. Be clear, gentlemen. We continue then. We already know that here we are in this participation, but obviously we also have to look at if we are really working with the Venus protocol itself, and here we are going to demonstrate that if we are working yes or no as holders, and I am also going to show you that here we can, from this blockchain, we can interact with Venus Point I or from the main page. So here they tell us not to just trust the information on the left. Here is more information. Obviously, look, here is the contract, gentlemen, 0255, which is the one that created Venus, and here we can go directly. Where to, gentlemen? Where can we get in for you? Can visualize where the protocol is opening and where we are participating from, so that you realize that from there, from the ABC scan, I opened that Venus. I did not interact with it by other means. I did it through the ABC scan, so that you take it into account, gentlemen. And here you can also view that the market, the CoinMarketCap. Here you can also view it, gentlemen, the CoinMarketCap within the ABC scan. And here which represents our currency with which it interacts. What Venus Point I, or with a commercial value at these times of 0.256 is the value. This page takes a little time to load, but in the meantime we are going to continue so that you can see that we interact with who Venus interacts with PancakeSwap, and we are going to review it here. I hope it will open this quick for us to look at so that you see. Give me a moment to see it load, because I want you to see that the UST with the post can also be pulled farming, and they can do it from Crystal. From Crystal you can check it. Wait a moment for me to load. And here you can also interact. Here at the bottom you can also interact with that, with MetaMask, with Binance, with Trust Wallet. There you can also find the boss DD, so that they can also have it ready there and here. This part is the one that takes the longest time, but I like that. I want you to see that, so that you can see that it is not only dedicated to loans,
they have many functions, and that is where it develops a lot than the part of the interest that we receive.
Look, here, well, stay here, gentlemen. From here, we can see that we interact with our currency with UDT, where? In Punker Show. In Punker Show, the boss with UDT, this contract, or this liquidity pool, because there you work with ranges. When you do JLA farming, obviously, you are going to work with ranges so that they see that the ranges can be reduced and you can generate up to 2% daily with JLA farming alone, so that they realize, gentlemen, because we have already done it. We have done 2%. So people cannot say that you cannot earn 42% when only JMA farming gives you almost 60% and demonstrable, and they can do it where?
In Crystal there, you can do it in Crystal, go to crystal.com, and there you can take this little step and you can operate it yourself ready so that that little part is clear to you. So here we are, I'm going to close this and sorry.
Ready here. So what are we interested in? We are obviously interested in this part of here, which are the headlines within Venus, and I have already shown you that the Venus.io page can be opened from the BC scan, and that we interact with this contract. Yeah, with this contract, then we go to the headline part. And here they are. This is like saying counterparties, gentlemen. It is like counterparties and holders. Look at what I told you at the beginning. 39,000 holders that we are at that time. 39,000 holders, or holders, whatever you want to call them. And here at the same time scan, they are going to show us the first 1,000. Yes, but in this case, we with the contract. This contract 5B5 that is here at the top, I need to see the one that we interact with every day, that if he is really working and we see him in the position, look at him here, 28.28. At this moment, we are with $1,096,000.
Yes, we are the first. Right now, we are the...
First, it's not that.
We're in first.
No, I told Valero, give him 2 more weeks. I would believe it because we have seen it week after week, and we were in position 22 in 2030 when we started studying it, and we are already in what? In 28?
In the 28th, gentlemen, look at what was before. We had to go through up to 3 pages to find it, but already in the first little page, we already found it on 5B5, so that you can see that we are participating with 46,000 yen of BUSDT with a percentage of participation of 0.4%, and obviously within in USD with $1,196,000, so that they are clear that we are participating as headlines of who from Venus, gentlemen, so that they can record it. And Leavi, it is in so much speculation saying that we do not do anything within Venus, and here we are checking it, and so that you can go for a moment. If we still have time, Jose, you will tell me if we have time.
Yes.
Indeed, yes, I would like to visit LA often.
Don't ask me for time. Don't ask me for time. We're not going to. I present what you are going to do, but remember that people have families. Come on.
No, not solely that.
I truly desire a refined appearance.
The interaction of Arkham Intelligence, obviously of the 5B5 contract, which is that of Walting Group, which is the one that interests us if we are really a counterparty with Venus, point I, and I want you to see the values. First, I want you to see the values, because really here is where you are going to kill the doubts. Gentlemen, here is where you are going to kill the doubts. Then here I am seeing that the 5B5, look at it. Here is the address, see what I am studying. Of our contract, well, obviously, I have to look at what the counterparties, if Venus is not in those counterparties, point I, or well, obviously, we are not doing anything either. And here, Arkham Teleger does not show it either. That is what this tool is for. Gentlemen, Arkham Intelligence is created by the Pentagon. This is not a company or a page created by the corner store. It is nothing more and nothing less created by the Pentagon. And well, obviously, that is why it has its logo here. That is why it has its logo.
They once informed me about the origin of that page.
Look, here is the logo. Here is the logo. You can look at the Pentagon on the United States page. You can look at the logo. The Pentagon is created here. Well, this has no doubt about those who are investigators who do it. So look, here in the counterparts, we can see that it is first class. Who Venus protocol? Yes, we can see it here, but I need to see this one if the inputs and outputs are really made by the inputs. What is the inflow? Otherwise, it does. Look who we interact with. Here you are going to look at this value. Look, this value is not the value of the contract, gentlemen. Record that. That value that would come out when I put the click here on Venus, it is not that of the 100 million or so. We are talking about the chick dad and who interacts with us. The chick dad were towards the wallet 5B5, gentlemen. That is who pays us the dad of the chicks and the tickets. Where do they go when we make the investment? From the 5D5 towards where here I put again towards the dad of the chicks. Here no other wallet is interacting. Tell me if you see something different here. If you see something different in this, well, yes, I already paid and let's go. But we are directly working with the Venus protocol, and here you are demonstrating it to me, and here I am going to you, so that we get out of doubts, because there are people who still have doubts. I am going to show you that the values are different from the contract of the creative contract of Venus, which is 0.55. Here we are going to see it. We can make a mistake so that it doesn't, so that it charges us. We are going to wait for it to load, and here we are going to finish one.
El Taje, just like me when I lived in Cuba. With the bad signal, I had to be turning everything off and off to be able to connect.
No, it's just that it's not that this is more, these pages are too loaded and that's why it gets so slow. But look, here this is the contract with which among 141,000 they realize that they are totally different values. They are totally different, gentlemen. This value that I showed you when we interacted with, and here we also have to see the counterparties and we have to be there. We have to be on 5.5 has to be already. Now, yes, in the counterparty, on the contrary, we have to be in. Let's look at it here in 1 hour. Let's see if the contract 5B5 is obviously here in these directions, and here we have to find it. Because if it's not there either, look at it, gentlemen. Here we are in Venus, and look at our contract. Here, look at it. Here is our contract on 5B5. Obviously making investments, I have to look at it. Is he really doing the entries and exits? All this is verifiable, but we are also going to enter the dad and the chicks right now. And here we see that in the influence, look at who we interact with. Why? Because that contract is operational, 0.55 is operational, but the one that where our money goes is where to this gentleman, to 926 million, almost $1 trillion. This is what we are interested in, which is why it is the entrance and the exit. But I'm talking about within the contract, what operation also comes from here. Which way? Towards the wallet of 1,002 to 1, which is ours, and obviously this is the father of the chicks. And here we also see that we carry out all the operations with the contract, and here we can see that 2 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago, people are interacting. 2 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago, they are interacting. People making what withdrawals, because here they do Outlook, they are making withdrawals. And to make it even clearer to us, look, gentlemen, here I am showing you that this is the address, but up here is the Pope. Look, it's on top here. We're going to click it there, and now we're going to enter Venus itself, Venus point I, or this is Venus itself, point I or Y, and we're going to see the value that he has at the moment, which is that 900Y. Give him millions of dollars. Look at him if we have to change the values, because where are we now? In the father of the chicks, yes. Here we can visualize it, and we also have to corroborate it, because obviously everything is correlating the counterparties with that contract, yes. And here we are going to realize in the visualization how we are already participating with the major contract itself. Gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, please understand that what I want is not to be taken into account of the people here also has to come out of our wallet. Let me look at her. Here it has changed, and I am where in the father of the chicks. Let's see. Hey, tell me if you see any questions.
No, this doesn't have this, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have error anywhere. And yes, it's true. Let's see, let's make it clear. Let's make several issues clear, because you can't be so skeptical in life either. Not all these projects have an end. And that's what I told you at the beginning, guys. When you are able to do this type of analysis, to see the prognosis, you have to see how are you managing the system, what the ecosystem of people is, how they are interacting, how lies the less possibility of loss, of having what is a proxy wallet, of minimizing all these little steps that worry us so much about past mistakes. When you start looking at all this, you can value quite a long time to be able to manage. Make money, guys. One thing, this is basically a matter of learning how to manage my capital. Many questions, many people ask me many times why these projects always end up leaving, and here goes the tea. Normally, projects leave in some cases due to scams, literally where the contract was never waived, where the system was always totally centralized, and that's where the insolvency problems come in. For example, 1TIMECLUB is a project that is super well structured. In fact, for some reason, it has not won the title of Best Project at the moment, 2026, in the top 1 wanted club. But tomorrow, there cannot be a technical problem if there cannot be a solvency problem. Okay, when we're talking about it, a solvency problem can occur a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. 8 months. Let's put it that way for the skeptics. 8 months. The case is not in how or when the project is going to fall, but in how I am going to use it, how the people who are leaders are going to manage it. How am I going to have my team advised? Look, don't invest anymore. I have met many people who in past projects threw the house out the window. They're pulling their hair out right now. If you are a new investor, do not invest more than you are willing to lose. If you are an old investor, well, you already come with travel money, because what many people out there say is that in these businesses you never win. That's false. I have many people on my team and acquaintances who come contradictory and with past money from past projects. Here, what you have to learn is to manage your capital, and tomorrow, whatever happens with Wanted Club, you have to have emerged victorious from this project. This is how these projects are worked on. This isn't Wall Street for Wanted Club to last 40 years. Okay, get that in your head. These analyses are carried out to determine a projection and greater security when investing in a project and looking for a longer project, which would be longer term. Okay, that's what these tests are for, then me.
Here, I just wanted to visually show that it is, look at our wallet. Obviously, it interacts directly with Venus protocol, and there is no intermediate wallet. There is no proxy now, this gentleman. You cannot put a script here. A script does not fit here. A script, as everyone has also told me, a script does not fit here, because obviously you can no longer interact with the contract. You can no longer manipulate it. That is, hold on people or hold on club, you can no longer manipulate it. Why? Because we have a transaction hash. Hack attacks or transaction errors can have significant impacts, but must be prepared for proactively.
Scan. Another of the haters' topics is that Venus has a proxy. Be careful. Obviously, Venus goes, everything has a proxy.
I already showed it to you here. Here I showed it to you. The creator of that is...
I'm not going to be far. Don't go that far if you can see the proxy from here, right where you were. Look, it's all those arribita next to the yellow one. Those are interaction wallets that Venus has.
Sure, they are.
However, it's from Venus, not from 1TIMECLUB, yes.
Wantas Club, we're here. Observe, separate. We're separated.
Operating. There they remain with a padlock. When they are contracts, they remain as such.
Sure.
The one below looks at the one with the yellow one. The one next to it has a lock. The one below.
This is a digital wallet indeed.
The other day I was checking and there were 2 proxies above Venus.
Certainly, of course, yes, no issues at all, no problems whatsoever.
Look at me.
I tell you one thing, don't be afraid of proxies. The proxies and have efficient programming logic to be their most function. In other words, obviously, if an admin does not have a resigned role, obviously that proxy can become dangerous, obviously. But in the case of us, we have a waiver in an executed transaction. We have a transaction executed by the blockchain that weighs more. I have seen contracts that only say renounce role or revoke or those. No, gentlemen, that is not traceability. It is not traceability. Sometimes it is a scan. That doesn't work like that. There has to be a transaction hash that is clear to them for the next contracts they want to enter. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to stop screen sharing. Let's clarify doubts.
Are you ready? I'll begin addressing a number of questions that stood out to me. Take this for instance. Pedro Calderon raised a fascinating point that's rather straightforward to answer. By directly referring to sections 12 and 26 of the contract, one can track its detailed structure and ensure clarity. Moreover, Pedro's question mentions good evening, indirectly hinting at familiarity with 11 club specifics, which is indeed a relatively new platform. Can you share how you discovered it? That brings us to the crucial question, who owns it? It's classic inquiry etiquette. Venus is a blockchain platform. Strictly speaking of a show, then, how did you get the 1TIMECLUB contract? Excuse me, minoración.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to answer that question from the owners and those of... Look, gentlemen, every contract, whatever it is, whether it's with Vane, whether it's with Venus, whether it's gentlemen, behind it there's a group of programmers. Understand that there are programmers, those are not done overnight. That is already lacking a little of truth, of common sense, because I don't know that programming does not happen alone, gentlemen. There are programmers. But the one that the contract is renounced, well, obviously there may be 50,000 programmers, but the contract is already immutable in the blockchain and no one can touch it there. They've already done their job. Yes, the only thing programmers can do is expand servers. Gentlemen, I'll tell you one thing where I see that they change only at least one plan of a connection plan that they change for. What we didn't earn on the 18th and we earned on the 19th, gentlemen, just do that. Red flag. We all quit the wanted club. We all quit the wanted club because the contract and the waiver implies that you can't change anything. Yes, but so far not, and so far and forever, because they won't be able to do it. Of course, I am very clear on that, and I dare to assure you that they will not touch it.
And stop to continue answering that question that I just read now, which is just looking at the entire process here that we have already analyzed, the entire process of creating the contract from when the contract was created. Obviously, the creators are programmers like you and me. All right, the creators behind all of this will be exploring and identifying the key elements such as the bet delegator, contractual frameworks, and all essential components orchestrating the operation of the Venus Protocol 5 or 5 setup. Subsequently, we'll incorporate additional strategies to further expand on this. Guys, this is where everything ties into the comprehensive plan. Where 1226 come in, it's worth putting the contract inside Venus with everything that what was manufactured behind a contract is not writing 2 lines of code. They have to have a logic. There is a logic that I have to organize parameters. Exactly, I have to organize everything so that tomorrow those parameters are combined and not have an error. Because once I do what is up here, which is the resignation role, after officially transferring ownership of the C5C5 contract, I hold no authority over it. Any oversight or mismanagement at this point could lead to its irrevocable failure. Quite the peril, don't you agree?
Here I want to respond to Miriam. Miriam says that all contracts end up stealing in everything they show, the contract codes and the story that the creators give up. Sure, that's this one, which is why you still have the chip. Miriam still has DE in her head. But obviously, when there's a hash, you have to differentiate between a waiver and what I was explaining. Placing a waiver in a contract without a transaction hash where it was executed by the blockchain is very different from a contract that says waiver there. Yes, I agree with you because there is no function there and there is no traceability of that hash of transaction. But if you make a withdrawal from your wallet, it will give you a hash. If you make a shipment, it will give you a hash. And here we have a waiver hash, sir. That is important that it
Keep in mind what happens, that she may come with that chip from what happened with business. That it was said a lot that the contract is the contract, the smart contract, the program as such, that it was rejected. And if it is rejected, gentlemen, is that from the head. The problem is not the business contract, it is the proxy portfolio, it has been said.
If we conceptualize creating visuals through an explanatory envelope, perhaps clarity can be more readily achieved to understand precisely why business engaged profoundly with the proxy commission contract. What were the driving motivations behind his influence and how substantial were the implications?
Because he was able to stop the payments, but that is a very, very long topic. What happens is that we didn't really realize, because the contract was paying like a clock and obviously paying for 2 years because no one trusted that proxy contract and we didn't study it, as we would say. And the
Projects make the contract you mentioned, Jose. On the 24th, what day?
24
24 to.
Of course, for that contract, but that contract, gentlemen, that contract wasn't waived. Yes, let's be clear, with that contract, I was not renounced, so they stopped there, obviously. And the contract, that's why I tell you, calm down, because they are giving us dates, calm down on March 16. Why? Because the one who has resigned and the one who was endorsed by Sergey has resigned and they couldn't touch that one.
And unfortunately, the money, and then they talked about that, no, well, it is one NFT. The one that was saving those gentlemen never did yell farming. They can't talk about one NFT when they never did yell farming and never did the loans that they supposedly said anonymous ones. So the money did enter Pankeshwa, that is clear, and the traceability speaks for it. But obviously they tell me that he has a FTI that had an NFT that is worth $700,000. Sir, well, let's see. He never made the deal. FM, if you have one NFT, it would have been reflected in your wallet. Be clear about that. That is, don't come to speculate and talk so much nonsense, because that's not the case.
Well, look at one of the things that, well, I learned this recently and I want to comment on it to those people who are watching us, is that when the rejection of an address is performed correctly, the address that makes the rejection with. The role of, in this case, admin role or admin owner. In the case that it is the direction, always whenever it is carried out, the rejection becomes null. Okay, null, it becomes zero. So when you come here to where the rejected contract is and start looking inside the entire control system, okay, where is all this? The contents. When you come to access control, you will see that in the public BI32, which is the constant that we find in the default admin row, is equal to 0x00, which is obviously an address 0000. Does this imply the null address is genuinely null? Yes, exactly.
It doesn't.
Nothing, Lula, there's nothing. The thing is that admin role is completely abandoned. You have already gone deeper there in the code, but if we check it in the transaction hash, that is a function that is executed. Jose is one and this.
It is a little important to review each parameter. Because if this were not the case, if the address was 0, it is because there is another hidden role of admin row who tomorrow can give him the action or can resume the action of administrator to that portfolio. Why? Because the wallet is not 0, it's still just paused. To deceive.
Exactly, paused. That was the word I had in mind. He paused. But look, gentlemen, that has to execute the logic of the contract. At any moment you have to do it, so don't worry. That's why wait until March 16. March 16 if not, and if I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would believe we're going to look, and I'm not defending. Gentlemen, I'm not defending, but we could be thinking that the business interface is going to change by that date.
Well, so as not to get sidetracked, because we're almost done, let's answer the last question, which is quite simple, but I don't know what. Let them know what they think about this, because I had never considered it. Where do you think this project is from? From which region of Asia, Africa?
No. It's very hard to answer that. No, we don't. It's a smart contract. It's in.
It's on the internet.
That's something that if I would tell you, because they already told me that they were from Colombia, and another told me that they were from Peru, another told me that they were from Australia. Not another. I mean, it's a contract. Intelligence, gentlemen, it's a programmer contract. Programmer point from where? From many countries, because that is not just a single of a single. Many programmers gather here to do this type of business, yes, but for me to tell you that this is from such a country, no, that would be lying to you, and you would also lie to your people. Here, most of them are programmers. We don't know the owners, and that's why it's good, because there are no people behind, gentlemen. There are no people behind, only the programmers. That's the answer.
Or Kai here, Rodrigo, well, gives us a recommendation that more continuously, instead of, well, he doesn't say it like that exactly, but he gives us the recommendation that tomorrow, let's give more preparation to do, or let them know, or let us teach them to see business from another point of view, so that we can teach them. He says that Zooms are dedicated more to strategies and ways to take advantage of 1TIMECLUB and earn more. And it seems to me a good point.
Good point.
I think it's a good point. People, as I started saying from the beginning, people have to learn to manage their capital. That is not to say I have $10,000, I am going to throw them all around. I am not going to put $1,000, I am going to take them out. For example, here in 1TIMECLUB at 71.4 days, I already have $1,100 than the $1,000 that I put in, and I am going to take them to my wallet, because 1TIMECLUB gives me the possibility of having 168% more profit. Why am I going to get rough? Why would I get greedy? I get my capital back. And I'm going zero risk. If the project lasted 4 years, I'm gaining 4 years with the profits. If the project lasted 8 months, I'm earning 8 months with the profit. We can get crude or greedy, okay? Can we make money? You've always been able to make money. If you couldn't make money here, we wouldn't be here, and that's right.
Totally.
So get that out of your mind, that, oh, you can't make money here, that everything is a scam, everything is a risk. Go trade. I have been a trader for 14 years and I lose, win, lose, win, lose, win. Get into the stock market. The stock market collapses and rips everyone's head off. Get into wherever you want. Look, I'm building a cafeteria with my wife tomorrow after having invested money, after having invested some time, after having sacrificed, so that tomorrow there will be no customers. And business is getting better. I lost my money, I lost my time, I lost everything. Everything in this life is a risk, but now you have to know how to reduce the risk in this type of project. First, knowing what percentage they are going to pay me, so that I can say in what time I am going to be able to recover my capital. And after that, if I'm a regular investor who just puts my money in, and what I want is to have the yield, after that what I do is compound interest with the profits. If I am a person who builds teams, which is something highly recommended once you start working in the world of networking, obviously the money and investment will be recovered well in advance because the team helps a lot. But if you are a normal investor, take your money out and make profits with the profits. That's paramount.
No, there are already many. There are already many ways to make compound interest. After you recover your capital, gentlemen, you can manage 16 property or 50. They already handle that. They can grow capital.
Stuff.
But that's already a topic. But we are going to organize and we are going to advise people as I can do. Personally, I drive 16 or 40. Yes, I leave a bag. I take out a 60 for myself and always leave the 40. No, I don't take out more. I take out more so that it always represents more of my wallet, and I leave 40. May your capital grow more. I work it that way, and that's how they can do it. But gentlemen, first you all get your capital back.
get your capital back, yes.
Here we are not telling them to make compound interest, which is that they have to do it out of obligation, right? And another last recommendation, because this is still happening and we are already, I don't know, tired, but we have to do it again. Do not deliver the referral link without having activated at least your first level. Don't hand over the link.
Without having activated your first level, gentlemen, problems will arise later because you will not receive commissions. The entire structure will be damaged where you do that. So take it as a recommendation, gentlemen. I don't know what else you mean, David or Joseph.
Well, here
Here is another question here from Juan, who has asked it several times. How to dollarize one-time cloud's profits? In other words, without the government taking what?
It's not that the government doesn't.
Are you taking him?
It's just that it is, we are.
In the DeFi.
This is decentralized. From your wallet, you can also hire a company that also gives you a card so that you can claim it from the bank, recharge the card, and go to an ATM and withdraw. That's the most logical thing you can do, the healthiest thing, and ready with an application.
my advice there.
Let's do one thing, guys. Let's do a Zoom later. Let's zoom in on that issue of monetization. If you want, we will do it so that they can see the ways that there are many ways in which you can monetize. And what's more, personally, I don't have money in any centralized bank, so there are many ways to do it. We will do it. We will notify you when and explain that.
Neither do I, David, from my bank. From my wallet, I withdraw change directly to my bank account. What I'm gonna
spend. I also do the same thing. I do the same thing from the account. There I withdraw.
Now, there is a new service. I don't know if it will be in Mexico, but I imagine it will be. And I believe that in Panama too. There with John Bosco, with the right now, with the topic, with Binance. Binance has an excellent service. I've already been using it. I've been using it for about a month and a half. Yes, more or less month and a half using the theme, and super good. So we are going to do with that. We are also going to be with RoadPay as well, and others that, and well, you already have many and you already choose active roulette. It is in active roulette.
active roulette. Pause, continue with roulette.
The pause a second, and let's see if suddenly who wins it? Well, lucky. Well, I think I also used the one you mentioned. Well,
Monavit, look, there is Monavit, Redot, Pay, Villa Banks. There are many so that you can get on the page while ready. But
So then nothing in these days fits. We are going to prepare good content to present to you. In order not to talk adrift, let's introduce that detainee, where the links are obtained, how does it work inside. We are going to do a lot of content regarding this so that you can move your capital. Because I have met many people who spend a lot of work converting their US from Tether to dollars or their local currency in their country. So we're going to work on this so that they can do that, for example.
there is also this Guenia in Colombia, here in Colombia, Guenia to work people. And well, let it move up to $40,000 per month.
Who is such a so powerful, excellent leader in all three? Excellent. Well, that's what we're doing. We are doing this with great affection for all of you. We meet Jose, we meet David, and we do that behind the scenes. We study it well, gentlemen, to be able to bring something nice to the market. This is the important thing. This so that you have the least risk. The least, we do not say that there is no risk, but the least we are going to reduce the risks. With these studies, so that you can have a calm investment, gentlemen, for my part, gentlemen, I have nothing more to say to you. I see no more questions, and I thank you for all the participation that...
Something important, as they say, to invoice that.
Little money, you have to earn money. The problem is that you don't have to open your minds, guys. You can win. I repeat again, if it wasn't one here, we wouldn't be here. So nothing. Guys, I hope you had it. A good presentation today. I hope you have a nice family night. We are all going to get busy. We have things to do. I hope you like this. Greetings. 1,000. Thank you, John. 1,000. Thank you, David. 1,000. Thank you, Harold, for the beginning of the presentation. And nothing, guys. John Bosco, also a pleasure to have you here.
This one.
Nothing.
Yeah, greetings to Harold and John, to John Bosco, which, yes, I have him here.
Bending, thank you very much for the info. Thank you very much for
The info and everything?
That's it. He's celebrating. Harold's already celebrating.
Harold has little Chinese eyes.
I have already arrived and I'm currently present at the meeting.
Ready, family. Happy Valentine's night. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
See you later.
Thank you.
Greetings. Bye.